Welcome back, everyone. We're here today with episode 2398 of the Cabral Concept. Thanks so much for joining me. As always, much appreciated. Today, we are going through a fun topic. I think one that you'll be able to implement this week into your own lifestyle, your healthy lifestyle, and that is adding these high antioxidant foods into your nutrition that are going to help you reverse aging and eliminate dis-ease of the body. And I can say that because they've been so well studied that it's not difficult to find the research on them. Of course, I'll be linking up for you the actual research from PubMed at 2398, but I'll also be giving you just a simple list of like 10 foods that pretty much anyone can add into their diet, whether it's vegan, paleo, primal, even low carb, we can add these in. So first, if you're unfamiliar with antioxidants, let's familiarize you. And those people they know what antioxidants are. Well, let's actually categorize them because you're probably getting some antioxidants, but maybe not the whole family of antioxidants, which again, everything is about a holistic approach, looking at it from an integrative approach, multiple angles, not looking at one food as the absolute best superfood in the entire world. And if you don't eat it, well, then you must be obviously out of your mind. And that's not the case at all, right? Natural health doesn't have to be that way. There's so many great foods out there that we don't have to just eat one. We can have a few of our favorites. And again, if we don't happen to like one of those foods that are a high antioxidant or good for you food, well, then we don't have to eat that either. Because again, there is no one end all be all food. All right, so let's dive right into it. I'm actually going to read this for you from a PubMed study, and it's called Plant Polyphenols as Dietary Antioxidants in Human Health and Disease. What are polyphenols? It's a good place to start, right? So polyphenols are described as secondary metabolites of plants and are generally involved in defense against ultraviolet radiation or aggression by pathogens. What does that mean? Well, it means the sun, especially the hot sun. So the hotter the sun or the more exposure there is to the plant, or let's just talk about fruits and vegetables for right now, the actual more antioxidants the plant will create. So a lot of times when we see these brightly colored and I'll get to that in a moment in flavonoids. But when we see these brightly colored plants, we're looking at the polyphenols that are allowing them to deflect pathogens, like from eating them, but also that's what they call plant toxins, right? And again, if you don't see me here in video, I'm doing that in air quotes, plant toxins, and also the obviously antioxidants. What does an antioxidant even mean? Well, it prevents oxidation, right? It prevents oxidation from the way things oxidize. How does something oxidize? Oxygen, that's one. Sunlight, that's another. And then through respiration as well, I guess you can consider that basically oxygen, at least for humans. But plants they take in carbon dioxide, right? They give off oxygen. So this is important for us to look at. That's kind of the reverse of humans. We give off the CO2, they take it in, they give off oxygen, we take in the oxygen. And I know that's an oversimplified version, but it is how life works. And so that's why, we need our trees and we need our plants and we need all those fruits and veggies for our body as well. So again, I'm not going to tell you not to eat fruits or vegetables. If people tell you not to eat fruits and vegetables, and they quote a couple random studies with people with gut-based issues, it is what it is. But I can share with you this. Inside of foods like apples, pears, grapes, berries, all these brightly colored fruits and vegetables, and I'll get to more of those in a moment. We're talking about 200 to 300 milligrams of polyphenols. When I say polyphenols, think antioxidants per just 100 grams of weight. So essentially around a serving. And what I want to share with you is this. Now, again, this is it's undefensible from anybody who says that plants that basically fruits and vegetables are toxic, right? And here's why. There's more data and more studies on plants that fruits and vegetables lead to a longer and healthier life than anything else. So if you say, well, okay, and again, I'm not against eating meat. Like people always immediately jump towards you're against this, you're against that. Well, I'm talking about what I'm in favor of. So if I'm in favor of something, it doesn't mean that I'm against the other thing, right? That's not how life works. It doesn't have to be that way if you're not dogmatic. You can say, okay, I'm going to keep an open mind because I know that there's a lot of research. I'm talking about tens of thousands of different studies on fruits, vegetables, antioxidants, that are great for you. And here's what the studies are on: cardiovascular disease. There's no doubt about it that antioxidants, and I'll get to what antioxidants are great for cardiovascular disease. They're great for blood sugar and type 2 diabetes. Again, contrary to popular belief, eating an apple is not going to cause diabetes. Again, and we have all these parents eliminating fruit from the children's diet. It's very, very scary, very, very dogmatic. We know that it helps against dementia and Alzheimer's. We know this. Again, because you can't tie sugar to fruit. Is there sugar in fruit? Yeah, there is. Like, that's literally made up of carbohydrates. But you can't tie carbohydrates to Alzheimer's disease. You can't. You could tie cardiovascular and Alzheimer's and other things to processed foods. I agree with you, and I'm not recommending those. There's no real antioxidants in processed foods. So if you want to throw out the muffins, the breads, and the pasta, I'm okay with that. You don't need those to be healthy. But believe it or not, there's not as many, but there's antioxidants in what they call cereals. Now, I don't believe that you need to eat these to be a healthy human. But, again, being unbiased is being unbiased. And you can find them in things like barley and oats and buckwheat and things like that as well. There are antioxidants in those. Okay, so what else does it help with? It helps with the immune system and infections. It helps with asthma and allergies. It helps with gut-based issues, mainly because of its prebiotic-based fiber, and antioxidants squelch inflammation. So again, if you think about this, well, antioxidants help with inflammation. Like, that's there. If you look up least inflammatory foods or most anti-inflammatory foods, you see basically the Mediterranean diet. And the reason is that at the end of the day, you can weight your diet, and you can weight it based on inflammatory food intake versus anti-inflammatory food intake. And the anti-inflammatory foods are going to predominantly be all your brightly colored fruits and vegetables. So it's fairly easy, fairly straightforward. All right, so we've got diabetes that helps with cardiovascular disease, aging, Alzheimer's, dementia, cancer, blood pressure, if I haven't named it already, asthma, allergies, infections, and then obviously there are more. Anything with inflammation can be helped by high antioxidants. So again, I always tell people, if you eat fruits and vegetables and it gives you autoimmune issues, joint pains, skin rashes, et cetera, bloating, gas, there's a gut issue. I mean, that's the bottom line. We've done this now well over 250,000 client appointments. We've lab tested tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of people by now. Certainly we've done that. And you can just see it again. So like, don't attribute to the food what the imbalance is to your gut, because probably at some point in your life when you were younger, you were able to eat these foods, right? I mean, you probably were. Now you can't. I get it. Again, like, I understand where you're coming from, but we humans like to simplify things too much, right? So that it's like, oh, I can't eat these foods, so they must be bad. Well, at the current moment, they're causing you digestive issues, but that's because you have imbalanced gut flora and most likely increased intestinal permeability. And that's going to cause major issues down the road in terms of mental health-based issues or physical health-based issues. So certainly I would look at it as, the actual food that you're taking in that's healthy is giving you a sign that there's an imbalance in your body. Hey, let's fix that. Let's run a bacteria and parasite stool test. That's the number one to look at for parasites, H. pylori, bacterial overgrowth, or yeast overgrowth. So for sure, that's what I would do. You can find all labs at stephencabral.com/labs, or you can simply run it with your local naturopathic doctor or integrative health practitioner level 2. All right, let's dive in. Phenolic acids. Don't let the word acid scare you. These are simply the compounds making up one of these polyphenols, or let's call them antioxidants, right? So phenolic acids are found abundantly in foods and divided into two classes: derivatives of benzoic acid and derivatives of cinnamic acid. So where do they come from? Well, they come from red fruits, black radish. They come from onions, and they can be really, really high in these antioxidants and really great for your health. What about flavonoids? Well, flavonoids are the ones you hear about the most. Okay, so no doubt about it, these are the ones that you hear about the most. These are the polyphenols that give fruits and veggies a lot of their bright colors. And we're talking about ones like, well, let's give you the 6 subclasses they're called: flavonols, flavones, flavonones, flavonols, anthocyanins, and isoflavones. They have different pronunciations, but phonetically, that is how they are said. So isoflavones Can even be in things like beans as well. Certain beans can be there. Anthocyanins, we're talking about a lot of our beautiful like wild blueberries and other things like that as well. I'll get to some of those foods in just a moment, but flavonoids are probably the ones, or flavonols are the ones that you hear about the most likely. All right, still beans. So tillistilbene was one of those things you might have heard about in the past. Sometimes it's a derivative, again, brightly colored fruits. But when we're looking at still beans, they are basically two classes as well. It just has to do with their actual chemical makeup. And for the most part, we say, oh, still beans are found in red grapes. And yes, red wine as well. You'll get about 100 milligrams, believe it or not, of antioxidants per glass of wine. I don't think it's enough of a reason for you to go out and drink wine each night, for sure. I think there's far more detriment than there are health benefits. But no doubt about it, again, staying unbiased, there are lots of antioxidants in grapes as well. Typically, the darker the grape, the more pressure it had on it from the environment. Obviously part of the grape's genetics as well, but that is actually what leads to thicker skins and more antioxidants. So let me just step aside for 1 second, and I will tell you that the healthiest fruits and vegetables in the world are typically the ones that have had the most stress in nature. I've shared these stories from when I was overseas doing my internships in India, China, Europe, and I shared many of the plant-based compounds or what they were using that were literally very stressed plants from lack of water, lots of sunlight, drought, those types of things. Those ones that survived were packed with antioxidants. All right, the last category I'm going to share with you today are lignans. Lignans are they also contain the cinnamic acid, but they're most closely associated with more of the plant-based foods and also things like seeds. And I'm going to share with you some of these real-world ones right now. So when I'm looking at my antioxidant intake for the day, I'm not even thinking about how many milligrams am I getting per day. I don't think that we need to get to that level. I really don't. Not sure that it's necessary. I have talked about it on other shows. I will tell you, it's really easy for some people. I think you should always start with whole food. Okay. So always start with whole food. No doubt about it. That's what I talk to people about. We talk about their nutrition plan first, then we talk about their supplementation. If you want to kind of safeguard your antioxidants for the day and you're worried about high carbohydrates, you can use the daily fruit and vegetable blend by Equal Life, and you can use the full spectrum vitamin C. All right. So those are going to give you a mountain of antioxidants per day. So one scoop of the daily fruit and vegetable blend actually has 9 grams in it. I mean, that's so much more than you'll see in most rainbow. We call it a rainbow blend because it's actually all the different colors, not just greens in it. You can, if you don't know about that product right now, 22 organic fruits, vegetables, superfoods, you're welcome to check it out. But again, that would be used on top of your whole food, which I want to share with you now. And the other one, again, was the full spectrum vitamin C. You can always find those at stephencabral.com/shop. Check out the labels. And then again, if you want to use another company, another product, again, you're always welcome to. I just want to share with you exactly what I do and what I've been doing in my practice now for well over a decade. Okay, so how do I get my antioxidants for the day? And again, I just want to share some of this with you as well. So the easiest thing to do is, again, I've said this over and over, but it doesn't make it any less true. If you start your day with a smoothie, or you get a smoothie in at least sometime during your day, it's just easy to get in your antioxidants. Like that's just the way that it is. So let's say you wanted to make it lower glycemic. Okay, we're not going to use a banana then. Again, I talk about this on my free smoothie guides. You can just use berries. You could just use wild blueberries if you wanted to, but it's nice to also get sometimes a variety. So I always do wild blueberries, but sometimes I'll throw in some raspberries. Sometimes I'll throw in some strawberries. Sometimes I'll throw in some cherries. All right. Because 2 powerful antioxidants are cherries and wild blueberries. All right. So again, people always say, well, if you could only eat one fruit, what would you eat? I would eat wild blueberries. All right. So that's just the bottom line. I would eat wild blueberries. You know, they're wild blueberries because they're tiny. They're mainly skin. So since it's mainly skin, you're mainly getting antioxidants because the antioxidants are mainly in the skin. So if you have a large blueberry, it actually has less antioxidants per cup because the majority of what you're getting is actually the juice or the flesh of the blueberry in the inside, which has less antioxidants because it's the skin that's protecting the inside from the sun. So Hopefully that's helpful. Again, cherries are very straightforward. You can just get organic cherries. That's a really nice way to do it. Cherries are phenomenal as well. They're great for like a pre-workout shake. If you do one, again, it obviously depends on your goals. I don't recommend a smoothie before your workout if you're looking to lose weight, but certainly you could do them in the morning. And they do help with nitric oxide production, great for energy, great for things like gout, joint pain, etc. Okay, so big fan of those, really easy. How much should you use? Well, as much as you feel comfortable. Again, check out the Functional Medicine Detox, check out the Fatlocity program for weight loss, check out my free podcast on weight gain. So it really just depends on how many carbs you taking in for the day. But it's like 20, 22 grams of carbs for a cup of wild blueberries. So it's not a lot at all. And again, if your body doesn't tolerate 22 grams of carbs from wild blueberries with some like protein in the shake, like daily nutritional support, something like that, you need to look at your metabolism. Like it's not the 22 grams of carbohydrates fault. It's really not. Like it's not. I think we have to get past that as an industry, as a health-based community to teach people that 22 grams of carbs is awful for their health and their blood sugars from wild blueberries. Again, if it's from, drinking a Mountain Dew, sure, it's a different story, right? A half a Mountain Dew, you get about the same, but it's obviously radically different in how it's used by your body. So, and a lot of people say, well, it all breaks down to sugar. Yeah, well, again, if you read the research, yeah, that's what happens, but it doesn't actually work that way in your body, meaning like it's processed differently through your guts. Fiber makes a huge difference, and you can actually see the blood sugar spikes in people as well. The other thing is, and I'm not going to get too deep into this today, your body doesn't need to remain in a static state. A lot of people think that their blood sugar just remaining at like 85 the entire day is the best thing that they could do. I don't think that you're going to find that to be the absolute best thing in the long run. Your body's ability to adapt to a meal is really powerful for the body. I'm not saying spike your blood sugar up to 180 and have it drop back down a couple hours later, like 70, where you're going to start to move into hypoglycemia. I'm not talking about that. But again, people live in extremes. I'm talking about normal fluctuations from a meal that your body's very well equipped to deal with, and then it actually improves your leptin and ghrelin levels and fat burning ability, et cetera. But again, I digress. Okay. So one of my next favorites that I'll often add to the smoothie, and we actually add some to the daily nutritional support powder anyways, is flax. So flax seeds is a simple one. It has those lignans that people are not always getting, and I always get them in whole form. So the only time I actually grind them is when I blend them. That's it. And so it's really, really simple, and that's it. I mean, again, really simple, really straightforward. You can add those to any smoothie that you make, and you really won't even taste them. One thing that sometimes I add, but sometimes I don't, because I don't always mix my leafy greens in with my smoothie, but adding spinach, again, people will go a little overboard because it has oxalates. Okay, oxalates are a problem if oxalates are a problem, right? We have to start to understand that, like, oxalates are not a problem if you don't overdo oxalates and you're not someone who's sensitive to them. Now you have gut issues, you have a lack of magnesium, you have a lack of vitamin B6, and you have kidney-based issues, you're dehydrated. Yeah, they're going to be an issue, right? But not everybody has those issues. Not everybody says, like, I can't eat spinach, right? So, but dark leafy greens certainly would be helpful. And again, you can just toss those in a smoothie as well. All right, so moving on. One other thing that sometimes people will do is they'll do sliced apple on top of some warm oatmeal or like an Ayurvedic based dish in the morning with some cinnamon and some clove. Really, really nice. And a lot of people enjoy that. I enjoy it myself as well. So apple is another high antioxidant one that you can kind of fit into your day. Simple, easy to use. Would I eat an apple over the berries in my smoothie? No, I think the smoothie is much nicer with the cherries, with the wild blueberries added to it rather than the apple. But again, you can still eat an apple. It's not like you can't. I typically do consume an apple a day. Another, again, perennial favorite of mine is olives and olive oil. I actually do much better, again, somebody who has that Th2 immune system dominance, to just olive oil. Olive oil is loaded with antioxidants. It's a monounsaturated fat. Buy it in the dark bottle, first press, cold pressed, organic, single source. I know it's a lot to talk about, but I have shared it on many other shows. Really high in antioxidants. A couple tablespoons with a meal. Easy, really nice. One thing that I just kind of glazed over was cloves. So cloves, cinnamon. These are some of the high antioxidants herbs that you can add to a smoothie, to your coffee. I did a podcast years ago on the best Ayurvedic herbs to add to your coffee, and cloves and cinnamon were a couple of those. There were a few others. If you want to check that out, you can find it at stephencabral.com/podcasts. And I'll also try to link it up today at stephencabral.com/2398, along with the research from today. All right, let me just give you two more. Let's give you one fun one as well. So almonds and certain other nuts are very high in antioxidants. Another nice one that is high, it has antioxidants, but it also has omega-3s, would be something like walnuts. Not a lot of people eat walnuts as much, but they can be really actually beneficial for you. And those almonds as well have been really proven to be helpful. Again, get them raw, get them organic, but they've been proven to be really helpful in terms of cardiovascular disease, diabetes, blood pressure, and more. So again, a really powerful food that you might add to a meal, or you might do it as like a mid-afternoon snack, or even just, again, blend them in your smoothie, and that would be fine at that time. Again, it all depends on your digestion as well. And the last one is dark chocolate. So a lot of people love dark chocolate, and they're kind of looking for an excuse. Hey, how can I eat my dark chocolate? Well, make sure it's greater than 70% dark chocolate. The greater the percentage, the more antioxidants it will have, because the less filler in the actual chocolate itself. So dark chocolate's a great one. 100%, not 100% dark chocolate, that would be very bitter, but that can be a really nice one to pack some antioxidants in there. And again, I always tell people, hey, if you're gonna have some dark chocolate, you might as well have it after a meal rather than before bed, because we want to try to cut out those before bed snacks as well. So that is an easy way just to get those 9 or 10 high antioxidant foods into your day. As I said, these things can be really straightforward, really easy to do, and you don't even need to know all about the benefits that you're getting when you're consuming them. But I'm telling you right now, if you do this on a daily basis, it's not like your body changes overnight, but it really will. It will over the next 12 to 16 weeks. You will feel the difference. So even if you just start at 1 cup a day of something, of wild blueberries, or you do 1 apple a day, or you start adding a little bit of cloves or something in there, it can be a huge benefit to your overall anti-aging and your body's ability to pull back and right the ship from dis-ease. So hopefully today's show was helpful. Again, all the show note links will be at stephencabral.com/2398. And again, if you haven't already picked up your free copy of the Rain Barrel Effect book, head on over to my website, and I'd be happy to get a copy out to you. All right, take care, everyone. Have an amazing day.